Welcome back to another edition of Holding Court with Coach Jeff Nelson. And Coach, what a week we're coming off of.
Yeah, it was a good week. Great week. Went 6-0 in games, and I thought played some really good ball for the most part.
Yeah, it's exactly what we talked about last week, exactly what you wanted to accomplish going in. Not just come out with victories, but come out with formidable victories because you knew what was coming up this week.
Yeah, we needed it for a number of reasons. One, what's coming this week. Felt like we'd been playing better, and we needed to get our confidence and really establish that. And I felt like we took care of a lot of those things and minimized our play heading into probably our biggest week of the season now. And I feel like we should be fresh and ready to go.
First up was Air Force, and it was an odd week because we played on Tuesday and Thursday, but the match against Air Force really highlighted something to me that I really sort of noticed more and more over the season. This team for the past several years has been such a powerhouse in big hitting, and there still are some big hitters on this team, but this is a very balanced team. I mean, great defense all the way around. Yeah,
I think Tuesday night we played good D. We blocked a lot of balls, but our blocking stats the last couple of years have been really good. We've been nationally ranked in blocking and been at the top of the conference or near the top. And it's funny because we aren't the biggest team, but I feel like we do a really good job of working hard on our blocking, closing blocks, sealing the net off. And because of that, we do get a lot of blocks.
We talked about defense, in that game, but also the middle attack was really working very well for the Lobos.
It was. We felt like that was a place that we could have a lot of success in both of our matches this week. We felt like the teams did a lot of one-on-one blocking, and as athletic as our middles are, we felt like they could be really successful if they were up quick and getting those one-on-one looks at the court, and that's what happened, and they put up big numbers for us.
It was a nice game. It was an early Tuesday game, got Air Force in and out of here, and then set ourselves up for the game on Thursday night.
Yeah, and again, San Jose is a team that, like Air Force, is much improved. They're climbing up. You know, a few years ago, Air Force was at the bottom of the conference. Now they're in the middle, and San Jose just last year was at the bottom. And, coming into the weekend, they were, I think, tied for sixth place, and they've beaten Wyoming. They've beaten some good teams, so maybe not Wyoming, but I know they have a good win, and I think Nevada beat Wyoming. But they just are improving and coming at you, and we knew that they would continue to do that, and I felt really good about the way we were able to control the match and shut them down.
We saw that fire from Julia Warren really burn brightly in the UNLV game. She had 11 kills and 7 digs, so she was still doing what she needed to be doing defensively, but she really was like the Julia Warren we're accustomed to. As she runs towards that net, she has that fierce look on her face and was just burying the ball.
Well, Julia does a lot for our team, and sometimes her offensive statistics don't show it because she's doing so much, but in the matches this week, she had good numbers across the board for the week, and particularly the San Jose State match. But Julia passes over half the court for us. She digs a lot of balls. She's actually inching closer to her 1,000 digs. Don't think she'll get it this year, but I think early next year she'll go over 1,000 digs for the program. And we just ask her to do a lot. She's played 3 different positions in the program. And she just does whatever we need her to do to be successful.
I've said it before, I'm still a little surprised that they serve to her a lot. Not that there's a lot of good choices. I mean, all the Lobos do a great job of getting the ball back up front to Hannah Johnson, but Julia Warren really steers that ball very well. Why would you avoid her?
I think people do try and avoid her, but she takes so much of the court that it becomes stressful for the opponents when they're serving, and she plays a lot of games moving around. She'll start wide to the left, and then as they're about to serve, move closer to the middle, things like that. And so I think teams try and serve her when she's front court, but back passing to slow down her offense, and that works sometimes. But you don't ever really shut her down on the passing. I think she's the best passer in the conference. I think there's some really good ones. but I think she is in the backcourt the premier player in the conference. And I mean, when you combine passing, digging, everything, there's some great liberos. There's some great outside hitters that pass. You know, I think I said before, I had the luxury this summer of being in Europe with Adriana Colbert and Julia Warren passing. And to me, you couldn't have a better combination out of this conference. And we were really successful because of that.
Yeah, that has to be a blast.
Yeah.
Just going and doing that. We'll definitely have a whole show about the European trip. Mercedes Pacheco, 9 digs. Really, really fun to watch. She really sort of, again, came into her own in that game. She's been doing a great job, but you've been mixing in Mercedes Pacheco and Stephanie Chavez and sort of running those two, back and forth. Mercedes really stepped up.
She did. She had a good week, and she passed well. She dug a lot of balls, more what we expect of her. And I'm hoping, being a freshman coming into a high level of Division I volleyball is difficult. The pace is faster, the athletes are stronger, and I do think it takes some time to adjust. And I think early on she played good ball and then got caught up in that a little bit, and I think she's starting to play better ball again, and very excited about her future.
You're not the kind of coach that, I look at a lot of different teams out there, and there's an incubation period for a lot of players. You don't look at a freshman like a freshman. You figure, hey, you're on the team, you get out there and win your spot.
I do agree with that, and I think, too, that we don't give them, I have said to Mercedes during matches this year, you don't get to be a freshman. You wanted a bigger role, you've got to go out and accept it, and that means playing like an upperclassman. And she understands that, and she's worked hard. Since she lost the libero position, she's come in and done a lot of extra work. Both her and Stephanie have, and it's made them better ball players.
That's great coaching.
It's great athletes.
Well, you know what? Off of the great coaching thing, we'll talk a little bit about our special alumni segment this week. Usually we talk about a former player, but you and I were talking about this, and lest we forget that there are some people that are at the helm that make all this happen. So we're going to talk today about Laurel Brassey Iverson. We
are, and Laurel is a longtime friend of mine. So actually when I took this job, she was one of the people that I had conversations with, and she's been back and shared some things with me. And
let me stop you there for just one quick second, just to let you know how much of friends they are. When we do these segments, and Coach always goes to them and asks them a few questions, and again gathers a little bit of data. You've got about a quarter of an inch. He's got a tome of data to read from, but there's a great body of content that she accomplished.
Yeah, Laurel was here 19 years. She coached 17 of the years. She was on hiatus, participating in the Seoul Olympics for a couple of the years, but she's a big part of what the program is, and we talk every so often. I've asked her questions. We've shared things about things that they started, and I'm going to talk about that in a few minutes, but when they were here, and just so many things. And I think it's really important that programs, I've said this to you many times, embrace their history. Yes. And I think like we've introduced Pauline again this year and different people, but I think Laurel maybe has the premier spot in the history, and so today we need to talk about that. Mm-hmm. So
you and I were talking a little bit, and you were reading off some of the things they did, and some of the fun things that they did to incorporate, bring their fan base right into that game, and you've carried on that tradition. I know you'll talk about some of the examples, but that's one of the things that when we tell the people to come out and watch the games, that they're going to see great volleyball, but they're actually going to have a great time in between the games too.
They are, and I'm actually going to have our the document posted on our website and or on our Facebook page and our alumni Facebook page, so that so many of our alums and fans can read through all of this, because there's some things in here that I really can't even probably say on the air, but but they're good things. But let me get into this. The first thing I asked Laurel in talking to her was to talk about her time here and her favorite experiences. And the first thing she said is, it's really not easy, there's so much. But the first thing she wanted to talk about was her great staff. And she talked a lot about Matt McShane, who's the head coach at Air Force now, but he was her assistant here. She said he's a great trainer, great strategist, and played a part or a major part in so many of the things they did here. She also said he's one of the wittiest guys on the planet, so I'll have to check that out. But she said, too, that she was extremely fortunate to work for Linda Estes, our former associate AD here. Linda was a pioneer in just women in sport and the Title IX movement, very innovative. Laurel said when she wanted to go to the Olympics in 1987, or go train to go to the Olympics, Linda secured a leave of absence for her and allowed her to participate. And when she returned, her job was waiting with a raise and an annuity. She also said the program was the first in the U.S. to have multi-year contracts for volleyball. And she said it was just amazing to be a part of it, and a lot of it was due to Linda. She does say Laurel lives in Kauai now with her husband Dave, and she said Linda lives there too, so they get together every couple months and share stories and catch up, and she said that Linda supported a lot of their crazy ideas. And a couple of the things we still have today that they started back then were our table sponsors, our corporate sponsors. That, when you're at the game, the tables line the court, and when you buy a table, you get the 2 chairs that are behind it and the things that go with it. So they started that program over 25 years ago. And then also Laurel and Matt created Lobo League, which is in its 27th year now, 28th year. We had the 25th anniversary 2-3 years ago, and Dave runs that for us now, but that was something that was started way back then by them. And she said she's really proud that those things are still going strong. Getting to some of the more fun things, Laurel said that playing in the South Gym was really a great experience. She said there weren't enough bleachers for all the fans because they would get like 1,200 people at a game. And so they would go to the swimming pool before the game, disassemble the bleachers, bring them into South,
Wow.
set them up, after the game disassemble them and take them back. And her staff did that. It wasn't a university group or anything else. That was the volleyball coaches doing that, and along with some help. But she also said the swimmers were crazy back then, and they were some of their biggest fans, and they would come to the games and have different antics for each game. And I invite you to get online and look up some of those. I don't think it's probably appropriate for me to talk about them, but they're good stories, and they're outlined in here, and I invite everyone to get online and look at them. She said they were responsible for renovating Johnson so they could play in the main gym. They rescued the old wooden seats and put them back in, and got a locker room for the first time in Johnson. We're still working on picking that one up. And she said they were coaching at a time in UNM's history where everything that was done they had to do personally, and so they have so much invested in it, and just I guess strong feelings. She said another one of her highlights were the year they went 12-0, won the league. They won, especially winning at BYU. She said that after that, the coaches in the conference snubbed them, and none of their players made all-conference after going 12-0. She said, however, they still made all-region teams, and Pauline Manzer and Sharon Browning even made All-American. She said that she's proud that they were the driving force in changing nomination and voting procedures and using stats and looking at completion, tough competition versus weak competition, so that an athlete's selection would no longer be biased. Another highlight was a 3-week journey to Italy. And she said that probably the highlight of that was she thinks that there were some girls that stopped for gelato every time the bus stopped. So, which I can honestly say I can't blame them. Laurel actually, I was the head coach at Texas Tech, and Laurel took our team on a 3-week journey to Italy one year because she had played professionally over there and knew everyone. So she set up a tour for us, and it was amazing. And I probably was the guy who ate gelato at every stop. So she just said the girls back then had a tremendous work ethic. It was balanced by fun and a lot of horsing around. They took a lot of road trips when they were on trips to see different parts of the world, and just really, she said, tried to stretch boundaries. She said you can always ask for forgiveness later. She said that they had their share of accolades and everything, but and as a coach, you can't be too much of a friend with the players, but she has great relationships with them now and really values all of them. They were tough in practice. She said the mantra was, you get what you tolerate, which is really interesting, right? Mm-hmm. You get what you tolerate. So that means you got to put up with some things and work hard. And she said it's not easy keeping 15 overachieving women happy, but they had great relationships and maintained high GPAs too. Let's see. We talked about volleyball today versus 20 years ago. And right. She said, other than the fact that the athletes are a lot taller, the game hasn't changed that much. Rally scoring changed strategy, and the libero position also added some possibilities for subbing. She said, but it still all falls back to basic skills and being able to execute fundamentals and minimize errors. And you've heard me talk about error stuff a lot. And then she, in parentheses, put, wow, I sound like a coach. So, yeah, you do. To all the fans here, she said, aloha, everyone. It was super fans, pleasure to play for them. She says she knows there are some still attending games, and they have a program they can be proud of and give great energy to the team. For future Lobos, she said, the program has a great tradition and community support. Lucky, lucky girls. They're some of the best years of your life, and the bonds with your teammates will last a lifetime. Take advantage of every moment. Leave everything outside the gym and focus on the task at hand once you enter the court. Lots of things on here, lots to look at, lots of great coaching and player advice, but I think there's some big things in here. She talks about taking initiative and stepping up, not waiting for someone else to do things. And finally, I asked her, what are you doing now? And she said, I realize no one feels sorry for me. I live in Kauai, Hawaii. Right. One of the most beautiful places on earth. She still travels a lot, but when she comes home, she says every time is an ah moment. The pace is slower, crime is virtually non-existent, and her husband love it there. She works for Kukui Ula Development. I hope I said that right.
Nice job.
It's a luxury community developer. And she's a service and control manager for the construction on that. She said she works with amazing people. Her husband Dave is still running his own construction business. He did that here in Albuquerque as well. And they built a home on Kauai about 8 years ago. She's involved in her church, and they just finished a gymnasium and put the national team sport court floor in. And she started playing again, which I think is great. And other than that, they enjoy dining out with friends and love their home. I did ask her one other thing. Because Laurel was an Olympian and then she was involved in the Olympic alumni movement and stuff, I asked her if she was still involved, and she said she is involved with the Olympic movement and the IOC Academy in ancient Olympia, Greece. She spends a few weeks there every summer between 1997 and 2007 and is involved with an alumni group and go back every other year for a seminar. It's like a second home. We try hard to attend the Olympics as spectators, most recently in London, and we are getting ready for Rio. She's very excited. Our men's team is number one and has already qualified, and the women will qualify in the spring, and it's going to be a wild time in Samba land, she said. Like I said, we're going to post all this, but I just want to say that I have a ton of respect for Laurel. Like I said, we've been friends since I started coaching. When I was an assistant at Arizona State, we played our teams, and then when I went over to Texas Tech as a head coach, we continued to play. I just amazing person, amazing player, amazing coach, and I'm glad that she's having a great time in Hawaii. That sounds like a good place to be. But I really, she brought so much to this program, and her and Matt left so much of themselves here in this program, and many of those things are still in place, and we try and build on them, and we try and do a good job, but they really laid the groundwork for a lot of great things.
That's awesome. That's Laurel Brassey Iverson, former head coach, 80s and 90s here at University of New Mexico, 17 years total, and you are going to post that on the Facebook page.
We are, yeah.
For all those parts that you can't actually talk about during this show. Great segment and a lot of fun talking about her. We've got our work cut out for us this week.
We do.
We get down, we're coming to the end of the season here, and we're taking on two huge powerhouses in the Mountain West Conference.
Yeah, we have exactly 3 weeks left today, and we have 7 matches in 3 weeks, 2 weeks. Let's see, this week, next week. Yeah, we've got about actually 3 weeks from today. I got to get it's that time of year. I've got to get my head on straight, but yeah, exciting week for our fans, exciting week for our players. There's going to be some great volleyball over in Johnson, and we feel like we're as ready as we've ever been to get after that.
What? And we're going to play Wyoming on Thursday. So basically, we've got a Thursday and a Saturday game. Both of those games are going to be at 7 o'clock. So a different time on Saturday than usually the afternoon game for that game against Colorado State. But how do you prepare for Wyoming? I mean, coming off of the big wins last week, obviously that's a great preparation for it. Anything different, or are you just building on everything up to this point?
Well, we've really been building, and we've had outside of the setback at San Diego State, the last 3 weeks have been outstanding.
Yes.
We've played great ball, and it's gotten better and better, and been able to stay on top of things. The intensity of our practices has been really good. The discipline, the structure. We focused a lot on defense, which, as you said, paid off last week. Spend a lot of time pursuing balls, touching balls on the block, and just being really aggressive. And Wyoming is a good team, and if they get the ball to the middle, to the net, their middles are very effective. And so this week we've also got to spend a lot of time serving and trying to keep them off the net. But it's an exciting match, and it's an opportunity to play a team that's just a half game ahead of us in the league. And if we could have a great match and come out on top, then we'd move up to third and just be a half game out of second. And that's how tight things are. 2 to 5 are super tight, and then there's a gap to 6. But we want to be at the top of that mix and fight, and hopefully have success on Thursday night, and then regroup. And we're not, even though Colorado State has been a fun rivalry over the years, we're not talking about that till Friday, because the Wyoming match is really important in terms of conference finish and just us proving to ourselves that we have really worked hard and really improved, and need to show them more than we showed them the first time.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the individual performances. We've got some players that are getting up there in the overall stats for the history of the program. Hannah Johnson's in second overall in assists. She's got 38.92. Jade Michelson has got 41.74. Is that tenable in 7 games?
It is. It is in 7 matches. Yeah, you're looking at a minimum of 21 games. She averaged 10 assists per game, and that would get her just short of that. But if we go to a 4th or 5th in a couple, then those numbers go up. But I think the big thing is she's going to eclipse probably 4,000 assists next week, which is a huge mark for a setter. And whether she finishes first or second all time, it's a great career. She's also got a great chance to eclipse 1,000 digs, which for a setter is a pretty big deal, because you want your setter setting. So for a setter to be 1,000 plus digs is really outstanding defense as well. And she's getting really close to that mark as well. I think that, knowing Hannah, she would rather win every match 3-0. But I also think that that's not maybe realistic, and she's going to have a great shot at this.
Yeah.
And I hope that she does that. And regardless, like I said, it's a great career.
She's going to be one of those people that whoever hires her when she moves on into the real world, as we always talk about it, is going to be very happy, because she's a bottom line type of person. What's the real goal here? It's not about me. It's about what we're trying to accomplish.
It is about what is trying to be accomplished, and it's also about putting a stamp of quality on things. Hannah can be a lot of things. She's a perfectionist. She pushes really hard in the classroom for grades. Really great. I mean, she pushes officials when she thinks that her team's not being treated right or fairly. She's the first one to, as you know, to go and fight. And so she does stand up for what she believes in. And I think over her time here, she's learned to make decisions about what's important and what isn't. And because of that, she's had an amazing senior year.
Talk about amazing years, Sky Gallat, and amazing careers. Sky Gallat is third in overall total blocks, right behind Chantel Riddle. She's 5 away from Chantel, who, by the way, was posting great pictures of her over
Switzerland
in Switzerland.
Yesterday.
Yeah, it's a pretty good life, you know. You come into this program,
and she's also being honored in 2 weeks as last year's Female Student Athlete of the Year for UNM. So she'll be in Switzerland, but someone from our program will be there speaking on her behalf. And but she continues to garner accolades from last season, and this one came about in the early fall, but she was the female student athlete from last year. So, but Sky,
no doubt, Sky is going to pass her in total
probably
blocks
on Wednesday night or Thursday night. Yeah, and I think Sky has a really great shot. I mean, if she does her average, she's going to be darn close to breaking the all-time record, which is Chelsea Sondrup has that. She was a great blocker. But Sky is, it's going to be interesting for someone like Sky to get that, because she's only 5'10". You know, middle blockers are usually 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah, but she's got like a 9-foot vertical leap.
She does.
And hang time.
But what people don't understand is it takes time. When you're off the floor that far, that takes time, and blocking is about timing. So it's even more a wow that with that. You know, if she jumps with the middle and then has to go outside and jump again, all that takes time. We're a big kid, you know, so we've taught her to keep her feet low, move quickly on the floor, but it really is a wow. I mean, that a 5'10" kid is going to maybe have the all-time record for blocking at a school that's had this much success.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome performances. She's in 7th in block solos, and she's in 3rd in block assists. She's, again, right behind Chantel. That's close. That's definitely going to be close. Looks like another one that's a tenable goal for her to reach.
She's had a great senior year, and I think if she can close out the year with some good hitting percentage games, I think she's got a great chance at being all-conference as a senior, and great way to go out.
We got offense, we got defense, we got serving, we got it all working for us here.
This is the week we need to have it all working for us.
And this is the week that we really need it, right? We want to get in there and play against the 2 powerhouses of the Mountain West Conference. There's a lot on, as you talk about seasonally on the line, but I think also just sort of saying who we are within this Mountain West Conference.
Yeah, no, and like I said, I think that with what we have in front of us, we can control where we finish. I don't think it would probably be rational to think that we can overtake Colorado State when they're undefeated, but I do think as far as 2nd through 5th go, we can control where we finish in that group by how we play going out, because UNLV's in that group. We have a match with them still. Wyoming's in that group, Boise's in that group, and we have all of them still. So, I think we can really control where we end up in that group of 4 between 2nd and 5th. And, we were picked 5th. I still think that we should have done a little better, but I'm really proud of the way our team struggled through the first half of the season almost. Had some great matches and then would turn around and falter with some big leads. And I'm really proud of the way they're practicing and playing right now. I mean, it's volleyball. They're going to make mistakes and all that, but we've really stepped it up, and we're playing good ball right now. I hope it continues, and I hope we stay focused and engaged and push through to the end.
There's only one more thing that we need. We need all those people out there
Right.
to show up on Thursday night and Saturday night here for both of those matches.
We do. I think that they're great matches for the fans. You're going to see some great ball. You're going to see premier players in the Mountain West Conference. Adriana Colbert from Colorado State and Laura Beach from Wyoming as a premier middle blocker. The Wadvogel, the libero from Wyoming, is outstanding. Colorado State's deep in every position, but you're going to see some outstanding players and see our players. I think Sky, along with Simone and Hannah, our three seniors, have all had exceptional years number-wise, and it's going to be fun to see all those great players matching up.
And you're not going to get much more of a chance to see our seniors, so
Yeah.
come on out. We want to have you out there. 7 o'clock Saturday, 7 o'clock Thursday, Johnson Center, and then come on back on Saturday at 7 p.m. This way we give you all day Saturday to go do whatever you want to do, and then come on out and join us for a great
Is the
great
football
vol-
team at home Saturday?
And there you could do that. There you go.
There you go.
That's right. They had the bye week last week,
Yeah.
so the football team's going to be nice and fresh and ready to rock and
So
roll.
go cheer the football team on to a win against Utah State, and then get over and help us take on our big rival.
Awesome. Well, good luck this week, Coach. I'll be out there. Expect to see you folks out there, too. And we'll be back next week with another edition of Holding Court with Coach Jeff Nelson.